Hi, everyone, and welcome to a Tutor's Guide to TSR, or our Student Writing and Reading Center's tutorial session report system. And over the next few videos, I'm going to walk you through several of the operations of TSR, how to get into it, all the practical sides of things. Now, TSR was originally created as its name suggests, as a reporting system on tutoring for the Student Writing and Reading Center. Now that's changed over time, thanks to the industriousness of a couple of SLCC writing tutors over the years. They created or developed it in beyond just being a simple reporting system and made it into a more fully fledged online tutoring platform, which we still use to this day. It started around 2005. But anyway, I don't want to get into too much of that history. That's not what we're here for today. What we're going to talk about is the basics of how to get into the system, where to go, and that sort of thing. And then just a quick overview of the system, and talking about some of the settings, some of the profile settings that you can create, or you can make use of, I should say, not really create. Let me start my screen share here. Okay. When you first get into TSR, to get into TSR, you'll want to go to www.slccswc.org. So if I type that into my screen, www.slcc.swc.org, it will take me to this page. Now I already have a login. Your login is, I've already shared that with you, but it's in general, it's your first name, and then your password is initially set to your last name. And I'll show you how to change that in a moment. But my computer remembers my username, so I'm just going to use that. Now yours is going to look a little bit different from mine when you get logged in. You'll know you're logged in because it'll say up here and it'll be in red, your name, okay? And then you'll also see users who are logged in here. You'll also see this bar right here: reports, profile, search, claim, schedule, settings, SWRC, create, and log out. You will not see this little gray bar. This little gray bar here is for our administrators. Now, one thing that you will always see are the important messages. If you have any important messages, they'll be right here. We'll also have any upcoming appointments will be listed here. And then all of your past sessions will be listed here. Now I have 20 pages of past sessions. You can click to the next page, or you can go to a specific page by typing in the number right there. I can get into it. There it goes. Or I can click on the next page of it. But I can look at all my past sessions and see what I've done. Most of my past sessions are usually I'm interacting with students. These students had file upload problems for their written feedback, for their asynchronous feedback, and I asked them to send their file. They never did, so they got marked as a no-show. Okay. Now let me show you what the upcoming appointments look like. I'm going to look at all ours, and again, you won't be able to do this yourself. But if I can get into, maybe there it is, all users right at the top. Okay. Now, we don't actually have any appointments today, but we do have appointments in the next few days. Any appointments that are going to be for today are actually going to be in white, or clear, if you will. Okay, so they'll be colored clear. Any pet sessions in the past are going to be this golden color, and the further you get back into the past, the darker it gets. Now, in future appointments, they are blue, so you'll notice this one is in a couple of days, at least from today. For me, it's next Sunday, and that appointment is dark blue because it's so far in advance, whereas the one that is for tomorrow, that's Wednesday, today is Tuesday, that one is marked out as being lighter blue. Okay, so if there were any appointments today, they would be clear. Okay. And you will see any listing, and you won't see the advisor, because this is again another tool for us administrators to move appointments around, which we can do if we need to, move an appointment. I can easily shift it from one tutor to the next. So if you ever do need one of our administrators, that's me or one of the lab coordinators, to move an appointment for some reason, you can just talk to us. But I'm going to go back again to myself so it looks more like what your screen would look like. Now the command bar has several different things. This is the command bar. Reports is basically this page. Profile is information about you in the system, okay? And this is the basic information and the statistics. As you begin to create reports, you will have access to several things like graphs. You'll also get these. A few years back, we gamified the system a bit. It was actually because of the summer of Pokemon Go, if you remember back when that first came out. But people like collecting the badges. They like seeing what they get. Everybody gets a first report badge. My first report actually was in January 31st, 1995. That's the first one I've entered into the system. I was backdating some, but never finished that project. The search bar here will let you search for a report for a student. So if I search for myself, let's see if I've got any reports in the system. I should have one that I know of for sure. Yeah, because I actually met with Igor on something. Most of the time I'm blocking sessions in the system for other students. Okay? But you can search for students by their name. If you know the report ID, you can search that way. You can search for students by their ID. That's their SLIC ID. You can also do instructor, department. Claim we won't worry about right now. We'll save that for the online tutoring. For those of you who are doing online tutoring, if you're not an online tutor, you won't even see claim. Schedule is where you put your schedule into the system, and there is a separate video for that, which is out, and you can. I'll refer you to that one. It's actually will be, well, it's on the playlist. There's a settings section where you can change some of your basic information. We'll come back to that in a second. And then SWRC you won't have to worry about because we're moving away from that. Create lets you create a report in the system. So for example, say if you had a walk-in, and we'll have a separate video for this. If you had a walk-in, you would click on create, and that's how you generate a new report. Otherwise, the reports are in the system. If we go back to the main reports page, if you do have any sessions listed as upcoming or in the past, these were generated by our appointment making system. Now, the appointment making system consists of either a student fills out a form, okay, and gives us information, or they make an appointment at a kiosk in the center. Now, you can tell the difference. This little plus mark that's right here, that indicates that the student used the system in order to create an appointment. If it doesn't have that plus mark, that means they use the kiosk. And of course, an online appointment, the only way they can make an appointment is to use the appointment system. And I'll have a video walkthrough so you can see the student side of that process as well. Actually, there already is one in the student's guide to TSR, and I'll refer you all to that if you're interested in that process. Now, one thing about your account that I didn't mention at the beginning, your account, like I said, is your own unique username. Students use their S number as their username. So if you use an S number to log into TSR, it's a student account. It's not your tutor account. There's a big difference. You can't access all of the features of that the tutor can access there. Now, again, like I said, I will have a separate video on generating new reports, on editing a report if a student has already made a submission. We won't be going over that one in this session. Now, one other handy tool that is particularly useful for online tutors is this bar over here, or pop-up window. This pop-up window shows you all the users who are logged in. Anybody who's listed in blue here is a writing and reading center consultant or tutor, faculty member or peer writing tutor. Anybody listed in yellow here is they're logged in with a student account. So we've got Felicia logged in with a student account. Felicia is actually a lab coordinator as well. And then Vishali, again, is a student account. Now, this is handy for online folks. If you're doing a live online session and you're wondering if your student's logged in, you can look over there and see that. Now, the last thing that I'm going to walk you through in this video is your updating your settings or your profile. And again, you can do that in a couple of ways. You can go to the profile page and click on update, or excuse me, update info or change password, or you can go to the settings page, and that's pretty much the same thing. If it's going to let. Very slow at the moment, sorry. Yeah, there we go. I think I'm in a bit. I can do it. Okay. Now you can change how your name is listed, first name, last name. You can change your email address. You also can add your telephone number. And that's a telephone number where I or a lab coordinator can contact you. Now, I do suggest you do that just in case we have to get in contact with you. And for whatever reason, some, we're trying to contact you because you're running late or something like that, which is always a good idea to call or text or call and tell us that if you're running late, your specific site. We'll talk about some of those policies in a while, or in another video. But you can also choose languages. Now, I've here got English chosen. You don't actually have to choose English. It is defaulted that you would speak English in the system and listed as such. But also, I speak Spanish. Well, I try to speak Spanish. Now, in order to select something, it depends on what machine you're using. I'm on this computer with a Mac. So if I wanted to mark that I also spoke Swedish, which would be cool, but I don't, I hold down my command key and click Swedish. Now you notice that didn't clear Spanish off the list. If I, however, just click, so if I click Tagalog here, you'll notice it cleared Spanish off the list, and I don't want to do that. So what I want to do is go back to Spanish, click on that, and then I can click another language. Or click it off again. Okay. And I've also, again, it's that deselected English up here, but I don't have to select English because it defaults to say I'm speaking English. And then the last thing you can list are your pronouns if you wish to. You don't have to list your pronouns. That is completely up to you. Now, one last thing you can do before you're finished with this page is you can change your password away from your last name, and I would highly suggest that. So probably the first thing, one of the things you want to do is go in and edit your settings and then change your password. And then when you're done with that, all you got to do is click save, and account settings have been saved. It takes you back to that page. You'll always know if it's been saved. If there is some error, it'll throw an error and it'll be an orangey red kind of color. Okay, I know that was a lot for today. I encourage you to, or for this session, I encourage you to always go back and watch it again. And again, this is just a brief overview of what the system is like. I encourage you to log in, add your languages, if you have any, add your pronouns if you want to, change your password. Okay. But for the next session, I'm going to direct you to watch the how to put a schedule in the system. All right, thanks so much. I'll see you then.